So this is 4.1, and we're doing the last example, which is example 5. And so if you take a look, we're going to graph translations of the reciprocal function. So we're going to graph this particular function, g of x equal to 1 over x minus 3 plus 2. And let's write that on the pad and analyze this for a second so we can compare it to what we've done in the past. So if we have the equation of f of x equal to the 1 over x minus 3 plus the 2. And they want to know where are the asymptotes and the domain and the range. That's what we're going to find in the end. But let's analyze what this negative 3 is doing and what this positive 2 is doing. Just like when you did translations for equations like x plus 1 squared plus 2, we knew that the plus 1 actually made the graph go to the right 1 unit. And we knew that the plus 2 actually made things go up 2 units. Well, that's the same thing that happens in this function. The minus 3 is actually going to cause the function to shift to the right 3 units. And the 2 in this case is going to shift up 2 units. Alright? So this is kind of that idea. So if we were to look at the original equation, which is f of x equal to 1 over x, this is what we call the parent or original equation. The original one. And so all we're doing is putting in the minus 3 with the x and the plus 2 on the outside. So if we were to graph this one and then graph this one as a second, you could see just what's happening here. So let's go to the calculator and do that. So I'll clear this. I'm going to go to y equals and clear it up. I'm going to leave this one in. I'll put this next one in. So that'll be 1 divided. Now to make sure I'm dividing all of the x minus 3, I have to use a parentheses or it will not do the x minus 3. It'll just do the x. So I have to do it in parentheses and then I do plus 2. Okay. So now when I go to graph it, you see what's happening. It literally was here and it got shifted 3 units to the right. And it was here, but now it got shifted up 2 units. So you can actually see from your graph that it's actually doing that. So that's what we want to do on our paper. So we want to recognize these two numbers and what they do. So when you have, again, I'll write down the equation here. If this part right here and this part right here, okay, so basically we have one at y equal to 2, and then we have another one at x equal to 3. So if we do the graph, right, if we do the graph, I put one at x equal to 3, so here's 1, 2, 3. So here's 3, and so x is 3 here, so I'm just going to do a dotted line going up and down, because that's what my asymptote is. This is my vertical asymptote at x equal to 3. Then I have one at 2, so I go up 2, okay, and so it is horizontal, going dotted in this direction and dotted this direction. So this is y equal to 2, and this is the horizontal asymptote. So now I just can sketch in the rest of my curve, because the curve is just saying, okay, It just follows along the asymptote. So I just can sketch this in. So I'll just draw a line that does this. And does something like this. Okay. And so here is my graph. So I now know that these two are my asymptotes that you're going to have to create. So here's the asymptotes. And then if I want to know the domain in the range, well, again, the domain is all the x value. The only x value I can't use is 3, because if I put 3 in for x, I get a 0 denominator, and I can't have that. So x cannot be 3, and it's all the reals. For the range, same idea. I can't have a 2, because y, the asymptote is 2. So for my y values, it'll be y cannot equal 2 and all the reals. That's going to be my range. And so this is what you do for this particular problem. So I'd like you to do the try it. And the try it is the same thing, but just a different equation. It's f of x equal to 1 over x plus 2. And then it's minus 4. Again, I want to know what are the asymptotes. Give me all the asymptotes that you find, just like I did here. Okay, and now I showed it in the graph. Okay, and then I want to know the domain and the range. Okay, just like I did here as well. So I want a repeat of this example for my try it. I want you to go ahead and graph it. Show it to me that you know how to graph this particular function. Show where the asymptotes are. Label them. Okay. Give me detail. Okay. And then tell me the domain and the range. And that's it. And then take a picture and send that to me.